Hi, welcome to Help with Hannah and Calvin. I'm Calvin Reed.
I'm Hannah Jones, and we are here to answer your questions. This podcast is brought to you by Little India. This is a beloved, local, family-owned restaurant with 4 locations throughout the Denver area and a coffee shop. Some of my favorites on the menu include the chicken korma, tamarind margarita, and all the samosas. If you live in Colorado, you should make this place a regular stop, and if you're visiting our great city, be sure you don't miss Little India. Visit littleindiadenver.com to find a location near you.
And thank you to Dude IDK Studios in Denver where we are recording.
You guys are getting already warmed up us because we just had to start from the beginning and we were riffing. It was so funny. We were just, imagine how much you would be laughing. It was really some genius stuff that happened just there. But you'll just have to kind of like imagine it and get in the mood with us. We have a guest in the studio today, which we're so excited about. She is a Nashville comic who you might have seen all over the internet. Put your sit quietly in your cars for Amber Autry. Amber, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Before that delightful little restart, we were talking about how Amber's been in the mountains the past couple of days performing for rich people.
Yeah, they're all very beautiful and chill. It's like a chill rich. You know what I'm saying?
I will say it's a better rich than like New York rich.
Or like even an Aspen rich or a Montrose rich. Like Montrose rich is rough.
I've
Because
never
they're
been to
even,
Montrose.
You don't need to. You don't need to go.
Go there.
You literally don't. Because like at least Vail's close enough to Denver. I feel like there's like a level of humility there. Montrose is like we're secluded and we're rich. Like I don't know. It's giving. They're more bourgeoisie. Like when the revolution happens, we'll like kill people in Montrose first. People in Vail could make it. People in Vail could make it. Some of them are artists. Like I think we'd be okay.
Vail, I think we'll put a line up and we'll be like, okay, like give us a short little pitch. You know, give us
I'm
a
getting
couple
nervous.
minutes
I don't know.
Well, just
Like,
don't
oh, no.
just don't get rich by then.
Yeah, truly.
Do you guys ski?
I used to.
Oh.
I'm from Colorado, so I've done all the Colorado things. So
Okay.
yeah, I used to ski. I'm not like a everyday skier, but it's like riding a bike. I'm aware.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I know for a fact I could like totally get on a pair of skis right now and do like a green hill and not die, and that's
so
kind of cool.
cool.
It's a little bragging right there.
Yeah, it really is. It was strange because I didn't want to go skiing because I like all of my limbs intact, and everybody was
Yes.
like, "Oh, like they're hyping it up. They're like, it'll be so fun." I did break my back, but like they were just saying terrible
While
things.
you were skiing?
No, I didn't go, but they were trying to hype me into it. Like you should
What
really
was that?
do
I
it.
did break my back. When did you break your back?
Not me.
Then this is act out of them. Okay, got it.
Sorry. Okay. I also was like,
thought you
I was like, you really skimmed over what I feel like is quite a big deal. Okay. Yes. They broke their back. Okay,
They
yes.
broke their back. And they were like trying to get me to ski, but they'd be like, it's totally chill. I did break my back,
Yeah.
but like it's super fun. I'm like, that doesn't sound fun at all.
No.
It's not worth it. Like coming from
No.
someone, the reason why I stopped skiing was because I didn't like having to, it's not even worth getting up early. You'd have to get up at like 6 a.m., put on a shit ton of clothes to go in traffic to do like, to me, it's not worth the energy. If I lived in a mountain town though, and I could just ski whenever, I would ski.
No. Let's expand on that. Because you go in traffic and then you get there, right? And then you have to wear like 3 layers of clothing, which
To not
means that your
suffer.
underwear is getting all twisted up and you're wearing mittens so you can't pick a wedgie. The first time that I saw what you wear during skiing, my first thought was, how would I pick a wedgie? How would I adjust my little bra band so that it's not like riding up in that weird way? Like it sounds so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then you're cold the whole time.
No.
And then everyone's
Yeah.
sort of like shouting at each
Yes.
other on your left or whatever.
They
No.
on your left down the mountain.
I think
If you're
so.
going slow, yeah. They don't like
And
doing
I
that, like,
will
in the
be going
beginner
slow,
hills, yeah.
to be clear.
They're pretty intense up there. If you don't get off the lift in time, they're like, "Come on, get off!" Like they're like TSA at the top of the mountain a little bit, like to
Yeah.
get off the lift. But then the boots make your like the ski boots. I never snowboarded because I'm gay, but the ski boots are so stiff that you like have a hard time walking. Like I get why injuries happen
Yeah.
to your knees alone with skiing because of how much you're like kind of isolated to the ankle down. Like you can't move your ankle, so you're not ever gonna hurt it. Oh, it's so much fun once you're there, but really it's not worth like to me. It's not worth all of
But
the
then
effort and potential danger.
The fun is like you go fast for a little while.
Yeah.
It's like No, not fun to me. I get stressed out. I don't like roller coasters, which is an embarrassing thing to admit out loud. But like, I just don't need to be going that fast. Like, as fast as I can go on my bike is like all the thrill I need in life.
That's valid. One time as a kid, I went really fast down a hill and I didn't know what to do because I was a child. And so I just like crashed my ski. I just went, I literally was crying and then I just crashed my skis and then started crying because my skis fell off and I was like 10 and my parents were like, what the fuck are you doing?
What?
My parents were like, you're being kind of embarrassing. To their defense, I was being kind of
You were
embarrassing.
10.
Yeah, but I knew what I was doing at that time. I was kind of a ski. I perfectly knew what I was doing. I had a brain. I don't know what was going on.
You just crashed to be dramatic.
The pizza and fry thing that you learned as a kid is true. So like I kept going fries. I never went pizza to slow down. And I just got scared. It was weird. Even looking back, I'm like, not my best moment. Like I was a little embarrassing. Like just crying like in front. And it was at a hill where like everybody was kind of a veteran. So I was just like the little kid crying in front of a bunch of veterans.
It's okay to cry.
No.
Not in front of veterans.
No, not in front of veterans. When I was 10, I was still straight at that time. Come on, like straight men don't cry.
Yeah, how are you gonna get pussy if you're too busy crying on the side of the mountain?
Literally.
All the girls with their slut strands are skiing right past you.
Exactly.
They're not looking sideways at your 10-year-old little mess.
They were like, that is so not attractive. Let's get away. Like, ew, that kid is gross. He's
if
crying.
only they had known you were gay, they would have been like, yes,
They would
queen,
have been like, oh
cry
my
it
gosh,
out.
he's crying. But no, like I know someone who literally has like a horrible shoulder injury this year from skiing, and they're like, can't wait to rehabilitate this year for next year. It's like, why? No.
Insane.
You only have 2 shoulders. What do you expect?
Is there something that would be your equivalent of skiing though, where you're like, fuck it, I love the risk?
Yeah, a nice walk in the park.
Because you might get murdered.
There's plenty of risk all day, every day. Cars are imminent at all times.
Hell yeah.
And I like a walk in the park, and that's a thrill, you know? You might get sunburned. Ooh. You could get catcalled. Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, for all 3 of us, skin cancer is a reality. We're all pretty white. None of us.
Yeah.
None of us.
I
Don't
already
have
have a
melanoma
couple
to
of
be
the
worried about.
weirdly dark freckles.
Oh, I already have a
that are
note from
by
my doctor
themselves.
about what to look at. I'm now keeping a note for every time I see my doctor. I'm just going to have a list of notes to go over because I have medical anxiety.
My ex used to work in a melanoma clinic, and he would look at my skin and he would find a weird freckle and he would be like,
Stop.
My medical anxiety could not. I literally find a new thing to diagnose myself with. I couldn't like date someone who could diagnose me, but not really. Oh my gosh, that's frightening.
yeah. Well, to be fair, he can't die. In the clinic, he was like a guy who like delivered tools from one end to the other. He wasn't like a nurse or anything.
Well, yeah, he can't like diagnose it, but if he told me you should get that looked up, I'm gonna get that looked up.
Yes.
Every single freckle I will do, and so I couldn't live with that. I'd have no money.
Yeah,
Whew.
that's fair.
Yeah, I look at my tattoo sleeve and I'm like, what has skin cancer? And I'm like, it's a sleeve.
You said you have medical anxiety. Have you ever
Yeah.
had like a big medical thing happen?
No,
Oh, interesting.
no, it's the impending doom
Unless
that
you
it will
count
happen.
the crash at 10.
Yeah, if you can count the crash at 10, there was that. No, I've never had like a big medical thing. I just am terrified of it. Like like the idea of like having something super medical has always like really scared me. So the dread of it is alone just like enough to keep me going.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm scared of the healthcare industry.
It is the worst. My mom is sick right now, and like I'm seeing it on a whole nother. Like I've always been like, yeah, we have shitty healthcare, but now it's like, whoa.
My friend has like 5 chronic illnesses, which is like, there's a series of chronic illnesses that like people who are born as women get diagnosed with. It's like POTS, EDS, endometriosis, and the way they refer to it, it's the modern day hysteria diagnosis, which is just like, we don't know what's wrong with you and we refuse to keep looking. You're being so annoying right now. But the way that they get like consistently gaslit by, like, they won't give them referrals, and it's, the move is always like, can you document the fact that you're refusing this testing? But they like basically had a test that came back with like, maybe you have cancer, and they were like, hey, this test result said like, maybe I have cancer, and the doctor was like, oh yeah, that's because we performed the test wrong, so I wouldn't worry about it. And they're like, should we maybe go back and do the test correctly? And the doctor's like, oh my god, fine, I'll refer to you to an endocrinologist. I shouldn't even be working on this anyway. And it's like, then what are you doing?
That's scary.
Yeah, doctors suck.
Yeah, I got such a good primary care physician that like every single time she talks to me, she's like, Calvin, I've worked with so many gay people. And I'm like, thank you. And I'm like, she makes a big, we talk a lot about prep.
You have the Lady Gaga of doctors.
I have the Lady Gaga of doctors. She was like, I worked in like, she worked in like the AIDS unit of someplace in like the 90s. So she kind of got the back end of the whole crisis. And she was like, ever since then for the gays. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe not like the best intro, but I'll take it. So now she's super nice to me and like totally dope. Like she's like super open about talking to me with stuff, and it's like cool. I'll take it. But doctors are fucking psychopaths.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad I have not a horrible one.
That's cool. You have a doctor.
That's so sad. No, me.
So cool.
You're right though. Like it is so cool, but unfortunately.
So I got health insurance for the first time in 6 years this year, and I like got my little PCP. She's a cunt. She won't do anything for me. I was like,
damn it.
I was like, I would love hormone testing because before my period I want to die. And she was like, ugh, God, okay, I'll give you an OB referral. And then she didn't. So
damn.
But switching is a huge hassle, I bet. So it's like, whatever.
Yeah, I have a physical that I'm going to go in for, and I'm going to pester them about it. But it's just so funny how, like, for me, I was like, oh, no, I've made it when I have health insurance. And then I got my little health insurance, and I would be like, I'm a famous comedian, you know? And then it's like not helpful, in fact. And I canceled my dental insurance, and I'm probably going to cancel my health insurance after my physical because it's stupid.
Yeah, I grew up, I mean, I don't know how, I grew up where it was like, we didn't go to the, like if it didn't kill you, then you survived.
Same.
You know? So.
Because we didn't have health insurance. My dad owned his own company. And then anytime he went to the doctors, he would like yell and get into a screaming match with the doctors because they would like charge him for stuff that was like insane, but it was like I didn't understand at the time.
Interesting. I grew up with medical insurance, so
hell yeah.
No, I'm rocking. Yeah,
how does it feel having the perfect body, Calvin?
It's kind of the best, not gonna lie. It's pretty great. No, but I am scared that I'm the person who will fall for like the doctor upsell where they're like, we don't need a testing for this, but if you wanted it, I'm like, yeah, like unfortunately you have got medical anxiety. I'll think about it all year long if I don't get it.
I'll take a little bit of blood work. Some blood work for the table.
I'm like, why not? Literally, we'll just do it. We'll do a test, see what happens. I know it'll come back negative, but I'm ready.
I mean, the hormone panel is like the en vogue thing for women right now. Everybody is asking for a full hormone panel because all of our hormones are fucked up. Apparently, I don't know. I'm getting all of this from TikTok because my PCP won't talk to me.
Yeah.
But I've talked to a lot of women who were like, yeah, I got the full hormone panel because I was experiencing your exact same symptoms, and it turned out everything was perfectly fine. And I was like, oh no, that's my worst fear actually. What if I get every inch of my body checked out and they're like, no, you're fine, it's working properly. I'll be like, this is how it's supposed to be, but it's so bad.
Do you guys like what would you call it, like this kind of stuff?
I'm sorry.
Like the holistic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was cute.
And you know what? Actually, you're amazing at charades. For the people who aren't watching the video version on YouTube, Amber sort of just did a mudra and swayed a little bit, and we got holistic out of that.
Holistic. Do you guys?
I dabble. I've dabbled before. It works. Some of it works incredibly well. Essential oils are hit or miss, but when they hit good.
Yeah. I just did sound healing.
Whoa.
Oh my God. It changed the game.
How?
It's actually, okay, so I didn't know a lot about it, but it's like very scientific. I really don't know all the things about it, but there's like rings. Your body is like rings on a tree.
Yeah.
So there was like, stuff when you were in the womb, and then it gets like when you were a kid, and then like your mom and dad's side, there's like all these like rings, and she just goes through and like does those little metal sound boys. And she was like, she was calling things like, when you were 8, like she didn't know my life, but it was things that like traumatically happened to me, and she was just like clearing them, and I felt so grounded but also lifted. It was amazing.
Whoa.
It was amazing.
That's cool though.
I know it sounds very like woo woo, but I highly recommend it.
Every time that I hear about woo-woo, I'm like, ugh, woo-woo, am I right? I'm too smart and logical. And then I'll engage with it, and I'll be like, this is actually the best thing ever.
Right?
I'll be like, essential oils are stupid, and then I use them, and it works, and I'm like, damn, an oil did this for me? Like, an oil
Yeah.
just fixed my problem?
What has been your experience with that?
I'm trying to think, like, there's, like, the migraine ones that you can just, like, rub, like, here and stuff, and, like, those have helped. There's, like, a essential oil my sister-in-law gave me that can help with, like, it's just like stuff that you can help breathe in, and it kind of helps your immune system, like all that kind of stuff. There's essential oils for everything. There's even essential oils for like skin inflammation, and there's like witch hazel and another oil, hazelnut oil, I think, can help with like skin inflammation and redness. So it can like help like calm that stuff down. I was like, who the fuck rubbed hazelnuts on their skin and saw an improvement? Like, that's cool.
People before
Yeah.
doctors, I guess.
Right? Like, that's insane.
That's the thing, is they had like thousands of years where they weren't trying to make money. They were just trying to heal people. And so it's like, of course, they made as much progress as we can make in like 200 years of like just trying to make money, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder what that fear of being woo-woo is from. You know what I'm saying?
Misogyny and racism.
Yeah.
I think we associate anything woo-woo with, first of all, societies that are like in other countries that are people of color and are like less elevated, less industrialized.
Yeah.
And then also in the Western world, I think most of the people who engage with woo-woo stuff are like women.
Yeah.
And so the little double whammy.
Yeah.
Misogynoir, one might call it. Okay.
Misogynoir.
Okay, professional gender studies.
Did you major in that?
No, I took one gender studies class.
You look like you could have minored in it for
Definitely.
sure.
I read a piece of separatist feminist, radical feminist text. I don't know how familiar you are with like crazy radical separatist feminists, but they're like political lesbianism. They're like, let's make a society without men because we cannot repair the relationship between the genders. I read this whole book and I was like, so I came in to like talk about it. I was like, wow, this was really moving. And I think we gotta get together and form a commune. And they were like, wasn't this a wonderful example of like how crazy those bitch radical feminists were?
Your class was
And
saying
it's-
that?
Well, the teacher was. And then like she explained to us, no, because here's the thing, they are wrong, because that was like the root of turfism and like people hating trans people. And it was like very much white women being like bitchy. So it was like, but it was just like, as a white woman, they got me. I was like, I was your mark and you convinced me. Holy shit.
That's interesting because I haven't read the book, but I'm like, I don't think that's the move. But I'd be interested in being like swayed
Because you're
a little.
smart.
They got me. Shit, your little thesis, I was like,
You were like-
we can farm men. Like, I'm down for that. I can farm a guy for sex every once in a while. Like, we don't need it.
Calvin.
I know, but I really hope if that were to
Be
happen,
farming you for sex.
who would what woman is gonna farm me for sex? What woman is gonna farm? I can farm a guy for sex. I'll help join the revolution. Truly, I have thought about this in depth. That if there were to be a thing where women just rise up and get power, I would like to hope that, like, as someone who's literally only friends with girls, like, can I like make me house servant? You know what I mean? Like I think I'll get minor privilege in an all female society. I'll
Yeah.
probably stay exactly where I'm at, just flip flop, like where the girls will be in charge. I'm fine with that. Literally, I'm fine with that. All my friends are girls anyways. They might as well be in charge. Shit, they got me. I was kind of like, I'll read more, but you're right. The triphism is not good.
Like that part.
That part isn't great. That lack
Yeah.
of inclusion is not phenomenal. But
Yeah.
No, so you have a really well-adjusted brain. Me in college, I was like, sign me up. And then I was like, fuck, I am too easily radicalized.
I mean,
think.
college though.
Yeah.
I'm
You're supposed to
easy
be open
sway.
to new ideas in college.
Yeah.
And that is what I fucking was.
I'm so easy to sway. I hate it. I wish I like to learn, and I'm like, oh, like that's a great perspective. Thank you.
Right.
My friend told me
That's
that
so true.
Lyme disease was invented by the CIA, and I was like, oh my god, so true. That sounds exactly like something that they would do. And I told it to like 6 people before finding out. My friend came back to me and was like, by the way, that thing I told you about Lyme disease, I did a little more reading, and it turns out that's a well-known conspiracy theory that's kind of associated with like flat Earth and Pizzagate people. So maybe not.
Do
And I
your
was like,
research.
I already told 6 people.
I want to know more about your friend that is just like telling that fact.
Same friend as the chronic illness friend.
So this friend is really
This
chronic.
friend is
okay,
getting a
this
lot of
friend is
airtime this
chronically
time.
online. They're
No.
chronically
They
ill.
read
Oh.
one little thing because they have Lyme disease, and they were reading about Lyme disease, and they just like found this one article and like didn't check the source, but they like immediately corrected themselves. It was me. They didn't see me for like a week, and during this week, I was extremely confidently
Oh my
relaying
God.
everything they said
It
to
happens.
everybody.
It happens.
And the problem is, CIA, this is a note for you. Maybe don't have that be such a believable story. Because everyone heard that and they were like, that does sound like something
Even a
the
person with
CIA
Lyme
would
disease
do.
believed it. Mm-hmm. That's pretty, for them to be like, this probably doesn't exist.
Well, no, it does exist. They just thought that the CIA created it as a
But they
biological
believed
weapon.
it. But they believed it for a second.
And doesn't it sound believable?
Wait, the CIA create not me. No, sorry, audience. Like, wait, this is just for they create. I thought they just made it up.
The idea was, okay, Lyme disease originated on this one.
I already believe this.
I know
on
shit. I
this
kind of believe it too.
specific island where deer. It was on this one coast, and off the coast of this island, where the deer swim between the island and the shore, and the deer got infected by ticks, and that was the first Lyme disease. Okay, and then just so casually, we realized that the CIA owns the island and does experiments with shit on the island. So it's like not a big jump to think that like Lyme disease was created by the CIA as a biological weapon.
Wait,
I
what's the
didn't know
proof
deer
that this is
swam,
not
though.
true?
I don't. Oh, wait. No. My friend found some. So
The
I
same
trust
friend that was
them.
like, my bad.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
That's why they said my bad. They were like, this was not true.
But where's the facts that it's not true?
I don't know. I'll ask them.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
thing that's
let me
really
know.
stopping me, deer swim.
These specific deer do.
Like, I didn't know deer swam.
I don't think
like,
all
that's
deer
kind of where I'm a
swim.
little lost.
No, I
yeah.
don't think all deer swim. I think there's like a treat on the island they really like, and the rest of their food's on the coast. Oh my god,
It's starting to break
I'm,
up
like,
a little bit.
Filling
The
in the
story is
details.
breaking
Okay,
up.
but I'd watch an Animal Planet on. I'd watch like a Planet Earth on these deer and like learn more about maybe. I mean, it's like not. They probably didn't invite and create Lyme disease, but they probably created something. Like the zombie deer thing that doesn't affect humans for right now, but like that could be a thing, right? Because there's the zombie deer. That's a thing. That's like a disease. It's like a mind.
Like rabies type?
It is similar to rabies, but it's not rabies. And I think it only happens in deers, but it's like what makes them walk kind of funny. And they will like walk in circles.
Oh,
And it's like a
God.
parasite, I believe. Fact checking. Don't. Well, whatever. Viewership.
Whatever.
But it's like a thing that like can kill like
Word.
deer, and it like makes them go kind of crazy. They're like not nearly as scared of humans when they're like this. So people have like a lot of it on film. And I think it could be like a parasite, or it's like something in their brain that like kind of eats at their brain. Maybe it's an amoeba.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. Well, they're deer.
Okay.
All right, hates deer.
Before we get carried away, we do need to move into our. I just have to get to this check-in topic because, okay, so I went on a date last night, a while ago. Calvin, I don't know if you've heard me tell this. I used to tell a joke, about going over to a man's house, and he was wearing a beanie and had like flower tattoos and was like very like, you know the type. You know the type. He had glasses, okay, and his little beard, okay. And then I went to his house, and one entire wall of his bedroom was one big American flag. And I was like, this has never happened. You don't have a mullet even. Like, what? How could I have made this mistake? You look so liberal cucked out of your mind. And somehow I'm in a man with a room. And I asked him about it, and he was like, oh, I just needed something big to fill up the wall. I like don't have a lot of home decor. And I was like, well, that's not really the answer. So so the joke is like kind of long, and it like never worked that well, but there was like one show where it worked really well, and I got it on a clip. So I was like, oh, I'll post that. This happened over a year ago. Flash forward to the other day. I'm in Seattle, but I'm going through my Hinge likes, and this guy was like, do you still do the American flag joke? And I was like, okay, a fan. Wow.
Yeah.
He saw me back when I was doing that joke, and then he
That's
recognized
kind of
me
hot.
from
Like that alone is kind of hot. Right?
And then I look a little closer, and I'm like, nope, that's that guy.
Whoa.
And I I searched his name in my phone with the last name Hinge, and that was that guy. Actually, I was
you keep
able to
talking
piece
to
it
him?
together. Absolutely, Amber.
Oh,
because I'm doing it for the plot. So I
Yeah.
was like, I'm really sorry, and he's like, yeah, 4 coworkers sent it to me.
No.
He's like, yeah, everyone heard that joke and immediately knew it was me.
How did?
Okay, but that's kind of iconic.
And I was like, okay, I'm really sorry. I mean, that was back when like I would see the number of like, 40,000 people viewed this. And I would be like, that's fake. You know, it's not like 40,000 real people watched this joke. And then over time, you start to have like people around town and you realize that no, they're actually
The real
watching
people.
everything. It turns
How
out.
did his coworkers know that it was him immediately?
I didn't know. I asked him about it because, okay, so long story short, I went out with him last night.
I'm dead.
Hell yeah.
Because
Hell yeah.
the reason I never went out with him, I like ghosted him because I got back with my ex.
Okay.
This was during our like very short breakup.
Okay.
I just went on a date with this dude. I got a joke out of it. I was like, perfect. And then I did not respond when he asked me out again. And then my move, I've been doing this a lot lately because I just went through a breakup, is I'll just go back because I used to be a chronic ghoster. I'll go back to the last text where they were asking to grab a drink this weekend, and I'll click the reply and just go, sure. No less than 16 months later.
Okay, but if some of the guys who ghosted me did that, I would laugh.
It's a-
like
it's
I
kinda
will
boss
say,
move.
I would
It's
be
a
like, cool. I
charming-
cried, but I laughed.
It's a cutesy move, in my opinion. One guy got really upset about it, and I had to apologize. But no, so I went out with him again and asked him at one point the burning question, do you still have the American flag up? And he was like, oh, yeah. And he lives right there.
Whoa.
He lives in that building.
And so one of the ways that he like remembered that I exist and that I have like blonde hair now is that he was walking by this place and he saw my poster in the window.
Okay, but that's kind of hot because it's a good poster.
Thank you
It's
so
a
much.
great poster. So it's kind of like of all things to see, if that's what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like if that's what brings you back, you can be like, damn. Like, that's a cool thing to be. It's not like, you bombing horribly on stage or something was what he first saw after the
true.
date.
Does he
Yeah.
give American flag vibes in any interactions?
No, dude.
What the
He's
fuck? This is
extremely
weird.
soy boy. And
Does he not know what's going on?
I
with
have
the flag?
explained it to him multiple times, and he like still doesn't get it. He's like, no, it's just an American flag. He was like, all my immigrant friends like it. And I was like, immigrants are by and large conservative.
The American dream, baby. They haven't read Great Gatsby. And they don't know that it's
no,
fake.
a lot
Oh.
of times they move to America because they come from like a conservative family where they're from. Like that's what Florida is.
Oh.
That's why Cubans are a lot of Cubans in. Whoa, okay, this is getting testy. But like, there's definitely like a lot of Republican Cubans in Florida. That is like a thing. This is not a sweeping generalization about immigrants,
no.
but it's like, yeah, a lot of immigrants are a little bit more politically conservative.
I mean, but also I feel like the idea, because the American dream is like something that ties people. The American dream tends to be more conservative. Like if you really believe in that, that's just going to lend to
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly.
Right.
So if people believe more in the American dream, which if I'm like risking everything and giving up everything to go to a new country, there's a dream I'd like to believe in.
Yeah.
That's a more conservative dream. That'll lead you to more conservative values. Like that kind of makes sense.
And just repping the country that you're like, this is gonna make my life better. Like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh
put
yeah,
the
if I
flag
moved to
up.
Canada, I'd be like ecstatic to be in Canada, right? Like
Yeah.
that
Wear
makes
the flag.
it all makes total sense why that would happen.
Plenty of immigrants are also like very liberal and leftist, but
As it should be.
But yeah, I think the data shows us. But anyway, that was his like big defense. He was like, all my immigrant friends. I was like, okay, first of all, you have 2 immigrant friends. I promise
And
you.
it's
You
all
have
of them they like you.
exactly 2, and that's why you're so psyched to use it as a plural. My immigrant friends really leans into the S. It's 2.
Yeah. You should blow up your poster to the size of the flag and switch it out.
I couldn't. No print shop in the world. I'm talking from this pipe to that pipe.
Whoa.
A wall of a bedroom.
Could he do like the pride flag instead?
We were like
Something.
making out on his bed, and I glanced up and I was like, I gotta go, dude. Because this was back when I drank. So I was like 3 drinks deep, just like rolling it. And then I glanced and I was like, fuck, what am I?
Yeah.
Good for you for saying that. I would have suffered through people pleaser. I would have been like, I don't want him to think I'm uncomfortable by this, by this sucking atrocity. I don't want him to think that affects me. So I'm going to act like everything is fine as I'm like shaking for my life.
You're in the voting booth. You're like, I'm a people pleaser. So
like, what's the majority doing? I think I'm just going to look at that. That's not how I vote, people. Okay, anyways, I do my research now. I've only not voted not doing research once when I was very young. And it was for the judges.
Oh.
Right, I was like, I'll go for the girls. Not my best move. Not my best move. I was like, I'm gonna vote for all
Coney
the women.
Barrett was actually all Calvin.
I was literally like, oh my gosh, all the women, let's do it. And then I told one of my friends that, and they're like, Calvin, that's like so irresponsible. And I was like, why? It's feminist. And they were like, no, it's not.
Have you read that one book?
I was like, I read that one book about how all men should die, and that like, come on,
It was
like
the
I think I made the right choice. No, they were like, you're stupid. And so now I don't do that. I do my research, but it happened once.
Okay. Fantastic. Calvin, what was your Tekken thing?
Oh my gosh, flash tattoos are insane to me.
Why?
Because it's like, let me just look at this one thing and put it on my body. Like normally, like put it on my body for forever. I love it.
My whole body.
I know, but I love it though. Like it's cool. It's such an interesting concept
No,
that somebody
you
is
switched
like,
up so fast.
no,
You
stop.
heard this, right? A second ago, he was like, flash tattoos are insane.
They're insane. Like they're insane because it's like,
Insanely good.
yeah, one of my favorite tattoos is a flash tattoo.
What if I said, I think the Little Mermaid tattoos are insane?
They are insane. As I literally have a whole sleeve of it. No, but like, I just think it's cool that like somebody that like we have that someone's like,
Yeah.
let me just get that piece of art on me for forever. The most of my tattoos, I have like an idea of it planned out, but the fact that I literally have like a tattoo that I just saw on a piece of paper one day and was like, that's kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think that's kind of a cool concept that like we just like art enough. It's like crazy in a good way. It's kind
I just
of more what I meant.
trust an artist more than I trust myself.
Yeah.
Every tattoo that I have wanted to get, like 2 years later, I'll be like, dumb. But everything that an artist makes 2 years later, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And then when I talk to tattoo artists about that, they're like, yeah, a lot of times you get requests for shit that you're like, this sounds like a dumb tattoo, and you just do it anyway. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why I should only get Flash.
Or
'Cause I'll
flash,
respect
like
your
grab bag,
vision.
like whatever you want to do it.
Yeah, they'll have like a little booklet, or a lot of people, it's just on Instagram now. They'll just like post a picture and then you'll DM them to claim it, and the first
Oh.
person gets it. That's how I've gotten like the vast majority of my tattoos. Only an jellyfish on my thigh and my stomach piece but it was still, the guy was like, maybe a lion, ? And I like thistles. And then he just like took it away.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only done like one true flash. The rest of them have been like, I have an idea and I'm gonna like trust you to like do your artistic process to get there, but like this is my idea. And I'll like kind of be like, I trust you for placement. I trust you for like length, size, color. Like I know that you're the artist and you can do that. But I really only have one true flash that I saw it on Instagram and was like, why don't I get it? And I was so nervous to get it. And now it is one of my favorite tattoos.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's like a hand holding a candle that is lit. It's kind of Halloween-y.
Okay.
But it just looks really cool. Like there's just something about it that I just like really like, but it's the only tattoo I didn't have like a prior kind of connection to or like want to have. I just think it's cool that like so many people's favorite tattoos are that like one that they got so last minute because tattoos are so permanent. It's just kind of like a, what is it, dichotomy? Is that the word I'm
Yeah.
thinking of? I just think it's such an interesting dichotomy.
Well, it's like what you said about appreciating art. That's really like the ultimate. You're like, yeah,
Right? Like it's
that
so
on
cool
me.
that it's like the ultimate way because it's my go-to artist that did that for his flash. I'm like, oh, of course, the artist I go to all the time. Like, of course, I would just trust what came out of his brain, and of course, I would like it. It's just I can
I
talk
love
about
that
art
you're
all
saying
times.
it's the ultimate respect of art, and like every guy I know has a tattoo of The Simpsons, of something from The Simpsons. I'm like, nah,
You know the most
sometimes it's
interesting
just for
people?
shits and giggles. No, these are just comics.
Oh, they have tattoos. Of
Amber's
the
like, I don't talk to male comics. I don't know what you're talking about. No.
those exist.
No, I swear to God, there was a long time where like every dude that I every dude that I dated for a while had a Simpsons tattoo in some capacity. And then I was dating my ex and I was like, I'm just so happy you don't have it. Because he was talking about some of his stupid tattoos. And I was like, I'm just so happy you don't have a Simpsons tattoo. And
then
he
he's
was like, no, this Charlie Brown tattoo, the Charlie Brown candle is actually from The Simpsons. And I was like, I'll kill myself. So
Are the Simpsons tattoos? Are they good?
define good.
Like well drawn.
So for me, well, it's The Simpsons, so it's like drawn by the Simpsons artist. So I guess if you like the stuff in the Simpsons, but like me personally, not my vibe.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't get a. My dad has a Snoopy tattoo on his ass, but that I actually kind of love, and I
Okay,
want to get
hot.
a SpongeBob tattoo.
On your butt?
No, not on my butt. No, like my upper thigh. And I want the flowers, actually. I want like the SpongeBob flowers. I don't want SpongeBob. That's a little much. Like that's like, I don't want a yellow gay sponge on me.
I just want the pineapple.
I'd much rather have like the cute pineapple. I'd much rather have the pineapple house or the cute flowers that are his clouds. Like that's the kind of stuff.
The pineapple house would be cute with the flowers.
Right. Like I think that would be cute. But yeah, I like people who get like the exact characters as tattoos for them. But like that's kind of as I have like exact character tattoos all the time. But like The Simpsons, like I'd much rather get like an idea of The Simpsons than like the donut with like the finger or something. Like that to me, Simpsons, not Marge. Like I don't want Marge tattooed on my body for forever.
Yeah.
Word. Before we get into, sorry, I just had to move us along for pacing reasons because I'm keeping an eye on your heart out.
Thank you.
Before we get into questions, we've got some announcements, some shows coming up. Denver, I do my new material show every month on the first Wednesday of the month. It's been selling out weeks in advance, so whatever. You should just like go ahead and get tickets for the next month that is available. LA, I will be there at the Lyric Hyperion June 6th. If you have any love for me at all and you have any friends in LA, just like send them the ticket link because I don't know if I can sell at that room. I probably can't. We'll see. And then I'm planning trips in New York, Nashville, Raleigh, and Savannah. I don't have those ticket links quite yet, but get on my text list and you will be texted the ticket links ASAP.
I love that. And I have shows. All of these are in Denver coming up. I've got April 28th here at Dude Studios, May 1st at Infinite Monkey Theorem, and a few others that I can't come up with. But just look at my link tree. They're all in Denver. I stay local.
Amber, where can people find you?
Literally everywhere. If the main thing is just go to any app that you have on your phone and type in Amber Autry Comedy, AMBERAUTRY. And please join the text list in my bio.
Yes.
For the love of God. Because that's how I reach people. Otherwise, it's just into the void. So
I've ranted to them about text lists so much.
These viewers know about the text list. They're aware. You don't. Yeah, they know the importance.
This podcast is sponsored by the Patreon. Patrons have first priority to get their questions answered, and they also receive a bonus episode every month, and it's only $3. That's patreon.com/HannahJonesCool. It's a shared Patreon for the podcast.
If you want to ask a question to get answered in a future episode, you can find the link to that forum in the podcast description or on our link trees or on any of our social media platforms.
Fantastic. Alrighty. First question, Calvin.
One of my 2024 goals is to be less antisocial and actively participate in activities outside of my comfort zone. I want to talk to people and I'm good at responding in conversations, but not great at initiating them. I also don't want to seem too desperate to make friends, even though low-key I kind of am. Also, it feels harder to make friends as a guy because when I try talking to other guys, they just give one-word responses. Want to hear what advice you and Calvin have to say. Signed, Anxious Andy. Thanks for subscribing to the Patreon, Anxious Andy.
Yeah, that's a good goal.
That is a great goal.
I mean, it's tough.
Why do you want to be friends with guys, Anxious Andy? This is my first question. No, I get it.
I think it's hard for straight men to initiate friendships with women. I think we're pretty on our guard about a friendship with a straight man.
That is super true. But I very much understand that guys only give one-word responses.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Like that's something I've always because I'm a talker, so I've always kind of struggled with. Like I can talk to a wall, but I really don't want to be the only one talking, especially in like a friendship setting. So that like one word responses from guys is like it's a hard thing to kind of work through and just be okay with.
Instant like suggestion would be improv.
I really think that's such a good suggestion because it's got to be something that involves you in a team. I mean, making a one-on-one friendship is great and you should have some deep friendships in your life, but like trying to make multiple new one-on-one friendships is just like a lot of like intense work. Like it's so much easier to be 1/6 of a hang than to be 1/2 of a hang.
And you'll probably find your person in improv. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody in an improv class is there for the same, like putting themselves out there and to be uncomfortable.
Everybody's like a little bit weird too.
Yeah. And you have to initiate.
Yeah.
You know?
They literally teach you how to initiate in an improv class.
Yeah.
And improv is really great. I've talked about this on the podcast before, but there's like the circle of like growth, and there's like a circle that's comfort, and then an outer circle that's like the first level of uncomfortability, and that's where like growth happens. And then outside of that is like growth where it's like disastrous, like it's growth that or it's not growth, it's like uncomfortability that will affect your growth kind of in a more negative way. Like it's putting yourself too far out there and it's like more detrimental, but there's like a good middle ground of it. And I feel like improv really tells you to live in that like kind of, you're not you're not in a comfortable area, but you're also not doing something that's
You're
like
safe.
obscene. Yeah, there's like a level of safety there that kind of makes the getting uncomfortable, I think, a little bit more bearable.
Yeah.
In an
Totally.
improv class. That's like such a good idea.
Yeah. I'm so
Shit.
proud. This is the second time I've suggested improv to someone, and I feel like that's really growth for me
Yeah.
as a comic. You
do
know?
you do improv?
I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
me
Second
too.
City.
But everyone in Denver makes fun of it. Even though now everybody's crowd working, everybody's riffing. Bitch, what the fuck do you think
Improv
you're doing?
is the foundation of comedy. Sorry.
You think
like,
you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of everything that came before you.
And what came before you was improv, bitch. So sorry.
Unfortunately, yes.
No, yeah. Like improv is not like my personal favorite form of comedy.
Yeah.
But I also
Oh,
have
it's
experience
nobody's
with,
favorite.
I
Yeah,
don't like to watch it.
You like to watch
I
it?
do not.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't like watching it either, but it's so important. Like you can't, like, to me it is truly like the groundwork of comedy is improv. Like to me it's very much like the cement foundation. Great comics, to me, all have a decent improv ability.
For sure.
Well, just because it teaches you a lot of like structural elements.
Teach you how to think on your feet,
And
which
the
you need to do.
structural elements are also usually really relevant in your life to like friend making and stuff. As far as like specifically initiating conversations when there's a lull in like the hang or whatever, you go out to drinks with your improv friends after the improv class. And I like to have in my back pocket as a homeschooled individual, I like to have in my back pocket a couple of popular would you rathers.
Ooh.
Those are great.
You know, a couple of I have a strong opinion about this thing that wouldn't offend anybody, you know? It's nice to have a couple of those canned. It's okay to have your initiations for conversations
Nothing
canned.
wrong with that. Mine is movies. Because I can talk about movies with just about anybody, and it's not that deep. It's
Absolutely.
people like movies, people like TV shows. I love that stuff, so I can talk to anybody about that. Your favorite movie is something with Tom Cruise. Let's talk about it. Like I feel, mine isn't Would You Rather's, but those are fun. Mine are like, but like I have cans. Like, what's your favorite movie? Tell me about your favorite movie genres. Like, name some action stars we like, or something like that is always a great way to start conversation with almost anybody.
Also, just compliment them. Be like, I love that shirt. And then they'd be like, oh my God. Like, you know, that's something that they love and will be able to expand upon.
Yeah, men really light up if you compliment their outfit.
Or their eyes.
Aw.
Every straight man, because I think everybody has beautiful eyes. Like, to me, like eyes they're like, I'm gonna get chills, but they're like,
Casanova.
they're literally like the eyes to the soul. Like everybody has beautiful eyes, so I'll like compliment like a straight guy's eyes and be like,
And
you have really pretty
I'm
eyes. And they're like,
imagining him swooning.
They're literally
He's
like, they
kicking
blush.
his feet behind
Aw.
him.
and I'm like, all I did was say you have pretty eyes, you fucking weirdo. But like, yeah, a compliment goes a long way, especially with guys. Or what happens if that guy likes to thrift? I like your shirt. Bam! Now you have a conversation on thrifting, and you now have a next hangout to go thrifting. Like, yeah, compliments can also go a long way.
Yeah.
Compliment their eyes, feed into their soul. Now you're no longer straight.
Hell yeah.
So now you be liking the boys.
Yeah, maybe you do need to find weirdo guys. You might be hanging around like straight jock style guys. So I think improv would help with that,
Yes.
or like a pottery class, or just like finding more weirdos, because all the guys I meet are like, you can't get them to shut up. So I think you're hanging out with the wrong guys.
Yeah, honestly.
Exit the Kappa house and
With
go find
improv, you'll
some-
find talkers.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
one talker. There's
Oh.
one talker in every improv class.
Ugh, they're usually more than one. It's a lot. Okay.
Walking in, well, we won't go there. Go do improv.
No, what were you saying?
I was just going to say walking into an improv green room compared to
Very
like walking
different.
into just
Yeah.
everyone's trying to be funny at once. It's like,
But they're all being like nice to each other weirdly. And you're like, wait, where's the tension?
yeah.
Which one of you is the one with the credit that everyone's like being weird to?
We had like not a great show in doing improv, and I was like, "Oof, that was rough." And they were like, "You are a superstar. You are so funny. You are." I'm like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
I
the
love
show
that
was
kind of,
bad."
I love
Whoa,
that kind
whoa,
of
whoa. I'm
positivity.
gonna
though.
I do too. It was just different.
It hits different, but like there's improv's a foundation. That's like it's not my everyday, but every once in a while I want to bomb and have somebody be like, "You are a star. You are so good." Like I need that every once in a while. Like improv,
So
it's
true.
the base.
So true.
Yeah. Okay, next question. How do I get over my ex? We were friends for 7 years and dated for 1, and he broke up with me because it was too much work, driving 45 minutes to see me, and he was, quote unquote, performing affection. We went on a nice date, walked to the beach, he went down on me, and 5 minutes later, he breaks up with me. I'm completely blindsided, but still want to have a hot person summer. Thoughts? Signed,
vomit.
Getting Over the Oaf. Thank you so much for subscribing to the Patreon.
Rough times.
Yeah,
Men suck.
He
Sorry.
sounds kind of like the worst. He just sounds like a mess.
First off, I just want to say that this is a perfect, like, when you get on the other side of this, it's going to be so freaking juicy. Like, I just see this as there's going to be another
Good
side of
story
this where
for
you're
the
going to be like,
future.
you know,
It sucks that you have to be like in the vibes of it though, because
Yeah.
you're right. Once like give it 6 months, you're gonna be like, that guy was a prick that I can laugh about. But those 6 months are hard.
Yeah.
to get there is a really hard journey.
Once
Yeah.
you grow beyond him, you'll be like extremely over him because he's a mess that you're not attracted to.
it'll be a little funny.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he thought ending what was like fucking 8 years of a relationship in that way kind of says a lot
Well,
about his
7
character.
of those were friendship. I think if you're friends for 6 years and then you start dating, it's like, okay, what changed? This is testy, you know?
I wouldn't know. I've never dated friends. So in my thought, I'm like, you have a relationship with someone. Wouldn't you want to be like nicer to them to end things because you had that friendship? Like
Yes.
that's where my mind goes. Is that
He
is that
sounds
like
a
weird?
little like,
Yeah, I
not-
just think that when people are friends for a really long time and there wasn't interest there
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden there is, it's like unless something structural changed, I think it's giving settling. I think it's
Interesting,
giving,
okay.
I spent 6 years with this person, with this person, with this person, and now finally you're here kind of thing.
I didn't think of that.
For a
That
full
actually
year?
makes sense though. Yeah.
though.
Yeah,
That's wild.
well, because he said it was too much work and he was performing affection.
Get out of here with that.
Like he was just undervaluing you like crazy. It sounds like honestly you would relate. He's a mess who's undervaluing you, which is very much giving the Tortured Poets Department. Which is new Taylor Swift album streaming on Spotify and available in Target, I believe.
Yes. In
needed
Target,
that
honestly,
plug.
Don't buy it, bitch. Don't,
just listen to it on
she doesn't need your
Spotify.
money.
But the song "Down Bad" might hit different for you. Just as a heads up,
Here.
that song will hit different for you. My apologies.
Oh, it's immediately pulled up.
Down Bad.
Yeah. We'll just play it in the background of all of the advice for this section.
Yeah.
Can
no.
Can I say this immediately came up, and this is going to sound like a joke, but it's really not.
Okay, now I'll turn it off. I didn't realize it was going to be so disruptive.
No, let her talk. Therapy.
That's so true.
Yes.
No, for
yes,
real,
No,
though.
but for real though.
Yeah.
And not just a talk therapist. They're great, whatever, to talk your feelings out, but a therapist that does either like trauma work.
Yeah.
Someone that has some kind of like EMDR, brain spotting, something that can like really get in there and like challenge you or get to like the pain, not just like talking.
Yeah. Because the real thing that you want to avoid doing in a breakup is like going around in circles and like being very stagnant in the pain that you're in. So I think that anything new that you can introduce to your life, therapy is a great one.
That pours into you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like investing in yourself and like giving yourself a little special space where you don't have to be like a good friend. You can just really, because that's one thing is that after you go through a breakup that's like really fucking you up, and the moment that you can feel your friends getting tired of hearing about
Right.
it, and you're like, oh God.
I'll just go back to them.
Yeah, you're not done. So get in therapy. Because
Yeah.
Marsha has to be your friend.
They are paid to do so. Every once in a while, I feel bad.
$150 too.
I'll
an
feel
hour.
bad. I'll feel bad to talk. I'll be like, but then I'm like, wait, no, yeah, you're charging me a lot, actually. Here's my life story,
Right.
okay? You actually, I forgot, this is what your job is. So, yeah, actually, you are going to listen to what I have to say.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
And with the money thing, if you see that it's like a high price, reach out and ask for a sliding scale because a lot of them will. So don't be like put off by an expensive tag.
Therapy is like, unless you get a horrible therapist, which is unfortunate, some do exist, it sucks. But if you can get like a good therapist, it is so worth. It's a personal investment.
Yes.
Yeah.
That lasts forever.
And remember that, like, anytime you're having trouble getting over something, anytime you're ruminating on something, the facts of the matter to a third party is that this guy sounds like he sucks and you dodged a bullet and you have a long life full of potential ahead of you. So the reason that it still hurts is because you're not focusing on the facts of the matter. The facts of the matter have unfortunately engaged with like a narrative that you're telling yourself that could be about like your deepest, darkest insecurities and the fact that no one will ever love you. And it's like, it's the narrative that you have to be pushing up against, because I think what's hardest is that when we really think that that whole narrative and all that pain actually has to do with that person, whereas I think that person is really like a small 10% of where the pain comes from.
I think you just gave the therapy, dog.
Don't
That was
give
kind of hot.
exactly-
That was hot to
That
listen
was
to. I'll say it.
exactly it.
Yeah. And also I'm completely blindsided, but still want to have a hot person summer. Lean into the fun post-breakup era, which is that you get to go on a lot of dates, you get to go out with your friends and have fun and be single. And I think that everyone like talks about that as if it's like unhealthy. Like obviously don't have like a fucking manic episode about it or anything. And like be safe and like have protected sex with people that you like and feel safe with. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with just like wanting to go out and have a bunch of novel experiences. That is actually a really emotionally healthy instinct to have.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of times we talk about that as if it's like, oh, you know, what what a silly thing to do after a breakup. It's like, no, there's a reason why we're seeking all that novelty and stimulation. It's not the funnest time to be alone with your thoughts, and you don't have to force yourself. I think we have this idea a lot of times that you have to like force yourself to really sit in it because that's the only way you can process it. It's like, you don't have to. You can process it 6 months from now when you're ready.
Damn, that sit and it is so real though. Like there's like this weird thing that you have to like sit in your pain or else you're like not feeling it, where it's like you can feel your pain but like not want to kill yourself. And and you will do other things like you can process your feelings by being kind to yourself.
100%.
It's one of those things. It's like it's hard to like believe until you're doing it, but it's like treating yourself. The song Soulmate by Lizzo, when I went over my very first ever breakup, I just listened to that song all the time, and I'd try and listen to the lyrics and I'm like, you know what, actually I am going to treat myself to ice cream today, not the liquor on the higher shelf, but like you know, my translation was ice cream, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I am going to get ice cream. And then I got ice cream and I felt better that day, and I was like, you know what, that was a little treat myself, and you deserve to treat yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Be very gentle with yourself. Like yourself as like a little kid who like threw a tantrum or like got a shot earlier today, so you're trying to make the rest of the day nice.
That's okay. You're gonna process those feelings. They will be processed. So you just be kind to yourself as you're doing it. You don't have to force yourself to sit in it. You'll process in a different way.
And gab about him. Just talk shit about him to everyone who will listen. It's so
Burn book.
fulfilling.
Rant as much as you can. Truly.
Yeah.
Get it all out of your
Well,
system.
obviously, like, ideally not to y'all's, like, mutual friends or whatever, but just, like, find a person in your life who, like, doesn't know him and who you can really talk shit about him to. Because you deserve to be the victim in your own story. You don't have to, like, force yourself to have all this compassion for him. It's not your job to have all this compassion and empathy for him right now. Like, don't be cruel, but... yeah, you can make the little story where you're the uncompromising victim. Have that.
It's what therapy's for.
So true.
Like, I'll put everything in my therapist, and I'm like, what are your thoughts? And then he'll be like, well, you know, and then he won't give me his, like, you know, personal deepest thoughts. And I'm like, okay, that was a little rude, but he'll be like, you're valid in your pain. And I'm like, okay, I'd like you to say this person's a
What
fucking
I need to
shithead.
hear. Yeah.
I always told my therapist, I was like, if you don't hold me accountable once or twice and say that I sound stupid, then I'm not going to trust you all the times you validate me. So, because I'll think that you're just like validating the shit out of me. So you need to like hold me back a couple times. And they would be like, okay, I will.
I didn't have to tell my therapist that. He just did it. He was like, no, you should be held back a couple of times. He was like, no, you're a little cuckoo. So like, let's hold you back, Calvin. And I'm like, I get it.
I want to say to that girl too that you should dance.
Yeah.
I love dancing and just like getting it all out, because that's like the feelings we feel, they're in our head, but they're in our body too. So if you like move, dance, work out, that'll do some processing
100%. I don't believe in like the revenge body thing, but there is a reason why it feels so good to exercise after a breakup because it just works that shit out of your body.
It does.
And do a fun, you know, if you don't like working out, do like a class or just in your room dancing around.
Shit,
100%.
do a walk. Like literally,
Yeah.
it is so surprising what movement can do to just like bring the endorphins to your brain, bring some dopamine up there. It desperately needs it. It literally, just movement.
Definitely.
Literally a fucking 15-minute walk daily, girl. That's better. Like that will get your body to help process a little
Sun
bit.
in your eyes, touch grass, cold plunge. No, I'm just kidding. Cold plunge, epinephrine, norepinephrine.
Get something on Goop. Like treat
Get your
yourself.
hormones. What was it? Your hormones
Hormone
read.
panel.
Get a hormone
We're
panel.
just
The whole
giving them
thing.
a list of like tasks that cost like $1,000. No, good luck though. He sounds like a loser.
Definitely.
Oh, he is a loser, 100%.
Yeah.
If he wants to eat you out right before he breaks up with you, he is emotionally a mess, and God knows what's going on in his brain, and he's fighting his own demons. But like, it truly could not have less to do with you. I don't think he's even really capable of like probably connecting and like seeing you as a human because he's just like so wrapped up in his own little mess.
And I highly doubt it was good. I highly doubt.
The getting eaten out on the
Yeah.
beach? No, too sandy.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine having beach sex. Sounds disgusting to me.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Anyway, okay. We've got some quick rapid fire questions. Start us out, Calvin.
Okay. Do you think men are capable of multitasking? Signed by Burnt Out Girlfriend. No.
No one's capable of multitasking. What you're thinking of is time management. So like scientifically we have the data. It's not multitasking. You're just switching between tasks really fast. And men are just like particularly bad at time management and executive functioning on a broad level. And some men are capable of executive functioning, but it's rare.
Yeah.
I read like Tired Girlfriend. I'm just like, have a conversation of like, here's what I need. Are you capable of this? If not, how do we make it to where we can both be happy?
Yeah.
If he's doing something that's like bothering you, you know, just like open the conversation.
If you're burnt out from, it sounds like perhaps you guys are, partnered enough that there's like a lot of admin work to do as part of your relationship or living situation and it's all falling down on you. If you've had that conversation and nothing changes, you have to be ready to leave because I just like
Hannah will say that on the
She's
podcast.
like,
She'll literally be like,
"Don't."
you need to break up with him. Unfortunately, he is garbage.
No, it is like the oldest and most common story in the world,
Oh, God.
which is like a man who just like will not pick up any of the executive functioning in the relationship, and like the women who are in those marriages look fucking tired as hell, dude.
They
And
make
it is
little
true. I
jokes
mean,
about
being
it.
burnt out, like you really, if the same conversation's happening, you sometimes do need the little hit of like, you might need to end it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Are you happy?
Insanity is trying to do the same thing by expecting the same result. If you're having the same conversation and expecting the same result, like eventually you're gonna have to like.
Because
do
remember that
something.
behavior speaks much louder than words, and your words are saying, "I need you to help me." And your behavior is saying, but if you don't, it's fine. I'll stick around. I'll stick around and I'll keep doing everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to really decide. And that's the most frustrating part, is that when you're in a relationship with a straight man, you're always faced with the like, do I plan where we're going to go for dinner, or do I not plan and we have that uncomfortable 20 minutes and we go to the place that is closed? And like either way, you have to either do the labor of planning or like live through the consequences of nothing being planned. And sometimes you just need to choose to live through the consequences so that they can learn that the planning actually helped. Because every guy, I feel like, is like, oh, but it's so much more fun to be like spontaneous. And it's like, okay, yeah.
But also, they're probably not going to be, when you're like, see, they're going to be like, yeah, everything's cool.
That's so true.
And then you're going to be like,
No, you're spitting right now.
That was just facts. Facts were sput. So
Yeah. I unfortunately am bringing a very pessimistic take to this question, being recently out of a relationship, and I think that's plain as day to any listener. So you can just take me with a grain of salt. Okay. Next question. How do you express your queer identity when you're in a heterosexual relationship? Question for my bi pan, others that apply, folks. Signed, bisexual in love.
What a great question that hits so hard. What a great question.
Yeah. Have you seen that Caleb Heron clip where he's like, I love bisexual women. I think them and their boyfriends
are just the best. I have the utmost respect for them and their boyfriends. That quote had me deceased. I mean, you're still queer, right?
Yeah.
Your identity is who you are. That's 100%. You might have a privilege of being in a heterosexual like looking relationship, but if you are queer, like that's just who you are. Like your identity is always going to be there. It's always going to be valid. You might be in a space of privilege at the time being in a heterosexual relationship, but that doesn't make you any less queer.
Yeah.
Participate in queer community. Express your queer identity is quite like hollow, unless you're like an artist, in which case like, you know, express your queer identity through your art. But like I'm curious what you're seeking out of the expression. I think a lot of bisexual people just like don't naturally find queer community, and so we just have all straight friends, and then it's like, oh, this is kind of weird. So I think that might be more of what you're missing and not necessarily the expression of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, because that's like recently what I've been having to find for myself, because I've run into a lot of like people have been telling me that I'm not queer.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a real
Oh, that is just so awful. Yeah.
It's so painful. It's so painful. And for a while I was having to, like, it was with audiences that would come up and be like, oh, I by your set and like your vibe, I definitely thought that you were gay, you're queer. And I was like, oh, I am, but and then I'm like, but I'm dating a man, but I felt like I had to explain, and then they would already like lose interest, and I'm having to like, wait, accept me. And just with my therapist and like realizing I'm like finding more people that have a lifestyle like I do.
Yeah.
Or that gay people who accept, like you were saying, that's like, you are a part of the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something that comes up when hearing that is like, that I've been doing, like, sometimes when I'm wearing an outfit and I feel good in it, but I'm like, I do look more masculine, and I'm just like, I don't know, being okay with that and being like, I can dress like this and be, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a spectrum, 100%.
100%. And fashion is like one of the main ways that the queer community
Can express
expresses
themselves,
itself.
Yeah.
So I think that's like super, I was going to say valid, and then my throat, it like caught in my throat for some reason. I just can't say that's super valid anymore. And so that's some internalized homophobia I'm working on. The internalized biphobia is me not being able to use the word valid.
and that is valid. And that is
but
valid.
See, you can use that word because you're full gay.
No, yeah, fully gay. Yeah, no, I think part, and maybe this is just coming from like my perspective, I have like a thing where I view like bisexuality as similar to being like mixed race, where it's like you could be white passing if you're mixed race, but like you're still mixed race. Like you still are very much a person of color. You just have a different experience of it. It doesn't like take away any part of your identity. There might be a privilege with it, but you're still queer. Like in most communities, you're still probably going to get hunted, right? Like it's a thing to where it's like you're still very much queer. The only thing that I assume, and like I said, I could be wrong, but I assume some of like the less accepting queer folk they maybe just don't like think bisexual people know that they have a privilege if they're in a heterosexual relationship.
Yeah, I think a lot of times what people think, there's extremely real biphobia all the time. I just also see a lot of bi people not being aware of the like different experience that they're having versus like people who are like very visibly queer, and I think that sometimes they like interpret that as biphobia. So I think as long as you have awareness, though.
Yeah, like as long as you're aware of the fact that if you're bisexual in a heterosexual relationship, there might be a privilege there. That's kind of all and it's the same, but it's the same thing with being mixed race. Like if you're mixed race and you recognize that you might be white passing, that's all. Like what you can't control. Great, you're happy and in love. Who, right? Like, oh no, who gives a fuck? Like as long as you're aware of yourself, that's all.
And aware doesn't mean apologizing.
No, because there's nothing to apologize for.
Yeah.
It's just an awareness, just knowing that like, because I can't walk down the street and people will be like, he could be straight. Like, no, I'm obviously gay. Like that's just like something, but I acknowledge it and I move on. Like
Today,
there's nothing.
Adidas.
No, you're right. I'm looking a little straight today. Wow.
Your sleeves aren't rolled up. No one can see the Little Mermaid.
No one can
tattoos
see
right
it.
now.
Ow. Just wait. I have short shorts I'm changing into for the gym literally right after this that are super gay. So exciting.
Amber does need to head out. So thank you so much for joining us today. You can find me at Hannah Jones Cool.
You can find me at Calvin Reed, REID_.
And me at Amber Autry Comedy, AMBERAUTRY.
Thanks so much for listening. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.